As you already know, what we're going to discuss, we're going to discuss something called as Git and GitHub. Okay. This is a new concept for us. So this is going to be a second module that we are going to cover in our phase 1. Okay. So let us understand what is this Git and what is this GitHub. Even if you are listening these words for the first time, do not worry. We'll start from very basics. But one thing what I expect from you is I just wanted to clearly understand whatever the story that I'm telling you now. Okay, that is the only expectation. If you just able to understand this story, you are done. You already know Git and GitHub. Okay, the remaining part I'll take care. Fine. Okay, so let's say we are working. One second. This is lock. Okay. See, let's say we all are a developer. See, who is developer? Developer is a one who writes code or creates some application. How they'll do it? They'll be using some Java, C++, C, or Python. These are the programming languages. Using these programming languages, what they'll do? They'll write some code. Okay. This is how your Flipkart, Amazon, all applications are built. Facebook, all of the applications. Developer will write this code in these languages and they'll create these applications. Correct? At least you know this. And now let's say this is my application. Which application? This is a calculator application. Now my requirement is I wanted to develop a calculator application. That is my requirement now. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll hire 4 people. For developing this calculator application, what I'll do, I'll be hiring 4 different developers. Okay. And now, don't worry about which language I'll be using. Let's say I'm using Java for this calculator application. Now, he'll start working on, see, in calculator module, in calculator application, what it will do? It has to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Correct? Now, as we have 4 developers here, what I'll do, I'll give each one operation, that is addition to this person, subtraction to this person, division to this person, and multiplication to this person. Okay. See, we are developing a calculator application. So for developing calculator application, we have 4 developers. These developers, one developer is working on addition, second developer is working on division, subtraction, and multiplication. Okay. Now they'll develop this application. Once it is developed, what I'll do, and let's say this guy, this first guy is from Mumbai. He is from Mumbai, and this guy is from Bangalore. This guy is from USA, and this guy is from, let's say, Chennai. There are 4 people working on different applications, correct? Different modules, different division, subtraction, all these things, and they are from different country, different places: Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai, and the USA or America. Okay. Now, see, all are working on different operations, addition, subtraction, everything. But if you look at a calculator is a single application. All are combined here, correct? Your addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, all these 4 are combined in single application. So for combining these applications, what you need to collect all the files, all the Java files, correct? Java files from developers to create this calculator application. Okay. Now the problem is, let's say I'm a guy from Bangalore. What I'll do, I'm the person who is handling addition, let's say. Okay. Now I'm writing my file. Where I'm writing my files? Or this addition module file in Java, I'm writing in my local system, correct? Local or in my laptop, I am writing. Okay. Now, this is related to calculator application, and I need to combine all those into a single application. So for that, what I need to do? I need to give this addition file, this addition Java file to everybody, right? But let's say I'm I'm on leave. I took a holiday and I went away. Okay. Then what happens to this file? There is this addition file. I'm just telling you the scenarios, guys. Don't worry. See, first scenario is, first I'll take a leave and I'll go to somewhere. Now this addition file is with me, correct? Without this file, you cannot create a calculator application. This is the one scenario. Second scenario is, what if your laptop crashed, some hardware failure or something like that? Okay. See, first I'm on leave. So for this, what is this? For this file, this addition file, you cannot come. I'm in Bangalore and you are in Pune. For this one file, you cannot come to Pune and collect this file because I'm on leave. That is the one scenario. Second scenario, what if your laptop is crashed? What if your hardware failure, your RAM is failed, your operating system is gone, some issue? Then also there is a possibility of losing your file. File is gone, correct? This is the second scenario. Guys, are you guys able to relate this? Please respond. I want you to know this.
Yes, yes.
Everyone? Guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Sure. See, then this is the first scenario. Second scenario, let's say, what I'll do now, we all will start building one more application. What is that application? This is a Facebook application. Okay. Now, earlier we had a small application. What is that? Calculator. So for that, we had only 4 developers. Correct? But now Flipkart is a very big application. How many developers you'll be having? There will be thousands of developers, correct? There will be thousands of developers who will be working for this application. Now, all are from different parts of the world or different parts of India. Correct. This is also possible. Now, everybody will start working on this project. But what is the problem? They'll be writing their files, writing in local machines or local laptop. First one is sharing is the problem. And second one is, now the problem is where you will store all these files. See, here there were 4 files. So you are capable of storing it in your local machines or somewhere. But here there are thousands of files, correct? Where are you going to store all these files? Are you going to store in your local machines? Yes, you can store. But what is the problem if you store in your local machine? You need to combine all these files at the end. But for this combining operation, you are in different parts of India. Everybody cannot come and sit at a single place and do this integration work. Correct? That is the problem. See, first one is sharing. There will be sharing problem. Second one is storing these multiple files is another problem. Okay. Then comes to third scenario. See, If you're working in distributed environment, please remember this word, distributed environment. What is this distributed environment? Same thing. Pune, Mumbai, Bangalore. This is kind of a distributed environment. Your team is divided into multiple, or your team is working from multiple parts of India. If you're working in a distributed environment, sharing is the one problem, storage is the another problem, and third one is a tracking or monitoring. What is this tracking and monitoring? Let's say this is your Facebook application again, and thousand of developers are working on this. Correct? Now, see, this is where I'm standing, and this is where somebody is there. This is Sachin, and this is somebody called as Mahesh. Okay. Now, what I'll do, I'll start working on one page. That is my login page on first day. Okay. On second day, Mahesh will start working on the same file, same login file in your Facebook application. First day, I'll be working. Second day, will be working Mahesh. Third day, somebody might work. Okay. But now, first day, second, third, 100 day. Now, how will you track who made what changes? Is it easy? It is not an easy process to track who made what changes, correct? See, today I might be writing 2 lines of code. Tomorrow, Mahesh might be writing 1 line of code. Then it keeps on increasing, or somebody might be deleting 1 line from here. Something might happen, right? So we need a mechanism to track all these changes. If somebody adds something to that file, I need to track. If somebody deletes from that file, I need to track. All these things I wanted to do. Okay. So what in simple, what I need to do now, I need to store some files, track some files, and monitor some files, monitor the activities, whatever that happens. Okay. So that is where your version controlling system, please remember VCS is nothing but version controlling system, comes into picture. Clear? And version controlling system is not only for developers. Version controlling system is not only for developers, it is for DevOps engineers as well. Okay. DevOps, it is must that is, it is a mandatory to know version controlling system to store some. See, please remember this word, text-based files. Text-based files in your centralized repository. I'll come to this. What is the centralized repository and all those things? See, first we had all these problems, guys. Okay. First we had this one. What is that? See, there was a sharing issue here. See, there was a sharing issue here in our first scenario. In second scenario, what was there? See, if this person is on leave, then how can I collect that file? That is a problem. Second problem is, if laptop is crashed, then how you are going to collect that file? It is not possible. And whenever working in a distributed environment, there are multiple people working on the same file. That might be a chances, correct? Then how are you going to track who made what changes? And at the same time, you need to store all these multiple files at a single repository, correct? Because see, whenever if you're working in distributed environment, you need to store all these multiple files in a single location. This is because I might be working on one task today, and tomorrow I might be working on another task, correct? Because I'm let's say this person is in Bangalore and this person is in Pune. Today I'll start working on login page. Tomorrow I'll start working on logout page. But just because to collect this logout file, I cannot come to Bangalore. Correct? I need some centralized space where I can store all my files. Okay. So that is also one reason. So version controlling comes into picture. That is where. And one more thing, version controlling system is not only for developers, it is for DevOps engineers, QA testers, whatever. Everybody should know this. Okay. And version controlling system, please remember, used to store text-based files. That's it. Just remember, it is used to store text-based files. Clear, guys? Any doubt till here? Guys?
No,
Okay.
no, Sachin, no doubt.
Okay. Okay. Now, to solve all these problems, okay, that is storing these files into our local systems and to track who made what changes. To solve all these problems, what we are going to do, instead of storing instead of storing these files into our local machines, what we are going to do, we are going to store it in a centralized repository. Okay, what this centralized repository is, centralized repository is kind of some central person, guys, nothing else. Okay, from here you will be storing all the files. You'll store all the files, and who are all the part of that project, they can come and access it at any point of time. And see, this is kind of a central location. This is kind of a, we call it as a circle in areas, right? This is a central point where everything is available and everybody can come to this place and take whatever they want. But whenever you take out something, or you just take out or put something back to this, everything must be recorded. What is this recorded? Who made what changes and when he has made those changes. Everything must be recorded. Okay. See, if just to simplify what we are discussing, this is kind of a bank. Okay. Let us assume this is a bank, guys. This is the best example I can give you. This is kind of a bank. Now, whatever the activities or operations that you do in your bank, see, I'm adding some money or crediting, debiting, whatever the operations you do, even if you have single rupee to your account, what happens here? See, a transaction ID gets created inside your bank account, correct? See, this is what happening. This is your bank server, and whatever the operations that you do, every time what happens? Transaction ID gets created for that transaction, correct? Same thing here, guys. See, this is your server. What is that server? That we'll discuss. Just remember, this is kind of a bank server where all the files related to your project are stored. Whenever somebody comes here, takes this or credit some, like credit is not a word, you add some content to file or delete some content to file. What happens here? If you had some money or delete some money from your account, what happens? Transaction ID is getting created. Here also same thing. ID gets created just to track who made what changes. Clear till here, guys?
Oh, yes, Sachin.
Any doubts, please, guys? This is a first class Git. I want you to know all these things. It's easy. Clear why we need a version controlling system? Okay, I'll take it as no doubt. See, let us come to actual story now. See, till now what we discussed, version controlling system. How can you define version controlling system, sir? How to define? Can I say version controlling system is a practice which helps to store, monitor, and track versions of text-based files, and directories. Can I say this? Version controlling system is a practice which helps to store, monitor, and track versions of text-based files and directories. Can I say this, guys? Yes, because you are able to store files at a centralized location from where, see, you are storing, monitoring, and tracking. These are the three keywords. Please remember. And versions of text-based files and directories. Okay. Now, what is the use of version controlling system? Use of version controlling system. First one is parallel development. What is this parallel development? If you're working in distributed environment, correct? See, if you store all these files in a centralized repository, what can be done? If first person can also work, second person can also connect to this centralized repository, download these files, and he can also start working. There is 100%. What he can do, he can also connect to this centralized repository, and he can also start working on these files. That means everybody can perform their operations parallelly. That is what we call it as a parallel development. That is the first advantage. Second advantage is authorization. You can add whoever are authorized to perform operations on this. What is that? A centralized repository. That is the second one. The major advantages: who, when, and what. That is, who made the changes, when he made the changes, and what he made the changes. Everything is tracked. That is the major advantage. And versioning. What is this versioning, sir? Anybody? What is version? Guys?
Changes.
Yeah. See, whenever, see, there is a file one. In file one, what I'll write, ABCD, I'll write. Okay. And I'll store it in centralized repository here. I'll store it here. Today I'll do it. Tomorrow, second person will take the same file. What he'll do, he'll along with ABCD, he'll also write EFGH to the same file. Okay. And again, I'll store it back into the centralized repository. Now, what it will do, it will track who made the changes. Okay, this guy made the changes. When he made the changes, okay, at this time he made the changes. And what are the changes he made? Okay, these are the changes he made. Earlier, ABCD was the content. Now, EFGHIJ or something is he has added to that file. Now, what the centralized repository will do, it will create a version of the file. What is this version? Version is nothing but a backup. Backup of this file it is going to create. Okay. What is the advantage? If something has gone wrong after some days, what you can do, you can again make use of this file, which is created as a backup file. So that is the reason it automatically creates a version of that file. Version is nothing but a backup. of that particular file. Clear? Any doubts till here? Just to summarize, till here, whatever we discussed, see, we are discussing about Git and GitHub. That is the module 2. Before getting into Git and GitHub, what I'm discussing version controlling system. Okay. Why we need version controlling system? To keep it simple, just to store, track, monitor. What you will be monitoring? Text-based files. Text-based files you are going to monitor. So that is why we need a centralized repository. It is kind of a common location where you're going to store all your files. All your files you're going to store. And once the files are stored, what it will do? First is store. Second is track and monitor those files. What is this tracking and monitoring? That is just see who made the changes, when he made the changes, what are the changes he made, and creating a version of that file. All these things it will be doing. It is exactly similar to your bank account. Whenever you add 1 rupee to your bank account, what happens? Transaction ID gets created. When you debit 1 rupee from your account, what happens? Again, a transaction ID gets created. Exactly similar to your bank account. See here, this is a centralized repository. Here it is a bank server. That is the only difference. Whenever somebody adds something, what happens here? Again, some ID gets created. What is this ID? That we'll discuss. If you delete something, again ID gets created. Okay, again some version gets created. And whenever you can go back to your bank statement and see when was happened, where it was happened, who has made the changes, everything. Same thing here also. Who made the changes, when made the changes, what he made the changes. But here you are making a changes to your money or some financial statements. But here you are making changes to text-based files. That is the difference. Clear? Any doubt till here?
No, sir.
Okay. I hope everybody understood this story. I just wanted to explain this just because I don't want to like unknowingly some people don't understand this, so that's why. Okay. Now let us discuss some terminologies related to terminologies. Okay. Some terminologies related to your version controlling system. Okay. It's an easy one. First, version controlling system is based on client server architecture. Okay. Version controlling system is based on client server architecture. See, if this is your server, do not worry what is this client server, I'll explain. This is your server and this is your client. Okay. First, just discuss about, let us just discuss about this server. Okay, I'm just writing it down here as a server. Again, the best example is your bank server. Okay. Now, if this is your bank server, let's say this is HDFC Bank or some bank, some Axis Bank. Okay. Please tell me what does this server contains, your bank server contains. Guys, what does this server contains? This server contains all the transaction details of all users. Correct? It is kind of a transaction IDs it is holding. Whenever you add some money, that gets stored inside your server. Whenever you debit or some money, that gets stored into your account. Correct? So it is like it is a collection of all transactions. And all these transactions are stored into this server. Correct? That is what the bank server is. whenever you credit or debit some amount from your bank server, all the details are getting stored inside your server. Correct? That is what the server is. Now, let us see this. If this is your bank server, and now what do you need to communicate with this bank server? You need some Google Pay or GPay or Phone Pay, Paytm, or you need some ATM card. Correct? All these things are required in order to communicate with the server or do some operations. Correct? See, these applications, these are the small applications which are required to communicate with this bank server. Correct? See, this server, this is a bank server, and whichever the applications that you are using, that is your client. Okay? Client is nothing but it is a user who is using it. You are the user. How you are using or how you are connecting to this bank server, you will be using some small software, that is Google Pay, GPay, something ATM or something like that. Using that application, you are connecting to your server. Once you are connected, what you will do? You credit or debit or do some transaction, buy some shopping, all those things you are doing. Once you are done with these things, what happens? A transaction is stored in your account. Clear, guys? So
Yes.
in that way, server, your bank is kind of a, please remember your bank is kind of a server, and client is nothing but your mobile applications, mobile app or ATM. Your ATM card is a client and your bank is a server. Okay. Everybody's clear till here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So next, I am just extending this story to the next level. That's it. That is what the idea is. In the same way, when you're working in version controlling system, where are you going to store all these files? You are going to store all these files into server. Okay, this is kind of a centralized repository. See, here I can call it as a centralized repository because everybody, I'm not the only user. These are other user. He is the another user. So it is kind of a central point for everyone. They'll connect to this server using some client application and they'll perform the operation. Correct? Here also same. Your bank server is similar to your what is that? Your version controlling server, where you're going to store all our text-based files. We are going to store all our text-based files in our version controlling system server. Okay. Now, I'm just talking about the server now. See, if this is your, let us come back to our bank server again. Okay. Now tell me, uh, at least now please start communicating. I just want a response from you guys. Now, please tell me what does this server contains? What does this bank server contains based on our conversation till now?
All the transactions like debit,
Correct?
credit.
Yes. See, it is storing all the transaction. It is storing all our transactions, correct? But please tell me, have they given only one account number to all of us? Is it possible? See, did bank give single one account number to all of us? No,
No.
right? No, right? So then how they're separating us? They're giving different account numbers so that we can store all the transactions based on different users and transactions. Please do not worry about my handwriting, guys. See what I'm trying to say? This is a bank server. Bank server consists of your transaction IDs. But did they give only single account to every one of us? Obviously, no. They have created a separate account number to each and every one of us, and they're storing our transaction based on our account numbers or operations. Correct? So that is how it is helping us to track. Now see, in the same way, our version controlling system is also having a server, and I told you it contains all your transactions, all your voters who did when they did, all these transaction details it is considering. And here in bank server also it is consisting of all the transaction details. But based on this discussion, you'll not be having a single account number to store all the details. Correct? You'll be having, just let me remove this. You'll be having one separate account number to each and every one of us. Correct? Same here, guys. See, here account numbers. Here we call it as repositories. Repo A, repo B, repo C. See, to store, what are these repos? Let me discuss. They are similar to your account number in your bank. Okay, this repositories are nothing but folders. Folder for each and every project. Let's say this is my centralized repository. Okay, here, see, I'm not the, if this is my company repository, if this is my company, in my company, I'll be working on multiple projects. There will be thousands of people, right? See, they'll be working on project A, they'll be working on project B, they'll be working on project C. There are multiple projects similar to your account number. There'll be multiple people having each account, project account 1, account 2, account 3. Correct? Same, just apply here. We call it as, instead of account numbers, we call it as a repository here. What this repository? Repository is nothing but a folder. That's it. Why we need this folder? Here, just tell me why we need this bank account number. Why we need this bank account number, sir? Separate bank account number. Anyone?
To see how much is debited and credited, all the transactions.
All the transaction for a particular user, correct? For a specific user. But here we need a separate repository or a folder just to track or first store, track, and monitor files for a specific project, particular project. Let's say this is my Facebook project. All the files which are related to my Facebook, I need to store in this folder. And this is my Amazon project. Now I wanted to store all the files related to Amazon in my Amazon account. This is my another account. What I'll do, I'll store all my some savings money into this account. Okay, so this is kind of a separation, separate account for separate project, just to make the segregation exactly similar to your bank account numbers. Clear? What is server and what does the server contains, and what are the things inside the server? Server is nothing but a centralized location where we are going to store all our text based files. Okay, but we are not going to store all our files common in a common location. What we'll do, we'll create a separate repositories. What is this repository? This repository is nothing but a folder which allows us to store our files related to specific project or a particular project. That is what the use of your repositories is. Clear, guys? Any doubt till here?
No.
Okay. Just a second. Okay. Now, please tell me. I want everybody to answer for these questions. Now, please tell me, what does this server contains? What does your server having now?
A repository.
It is having a collection of repositories, correct? And what is repository? It is basically a folder in which all the files for a particular project is stored and maintained, correct? See, now your server is containing all of your is server is having, it is a collection of repositories. And what is this repository? It is basically a folder in which all the files for a particular project is stored and maintained, just like your bank account. You are having a bank account, separate bank account for each and everyone, and all of your data is stored in that account number, correct? That is what we discussed. See, that is the meaning of server and repositories. Now comes the another thing is a client. Okay, now we have a server here, correct? And now I need to, if this is my bank server, HDFC bank server, if I wanted to connect to this, I need some application inside my phone, which might be Phone Pay, Google Pay, some file, some application I need, correct? See, that is what, if you wanted to start communicating, or if you want to communicate with the server or do some transaction, what you need, you are here, this is your phone. This helps you to provide an interface between your server and your client or user. Client is kind of a small application which helps you to interact with the server. It might be your Phone Pay, Google Pay, or any application, correct? That is what the use of your client is. Okay. Now it is nothing but a software application which is used to communicate with the server. Clear till now? What is client? What is server? What does your server contains? What does your client contains? And version controlling system is based on client server architecture. Okay. See, till now we discussed what is version controlling system, why we need version controlling system, what are the advantages. Then we discussed about what is client, what is server, what does the server contains. It contains of repositories or folders for each and every project. What is this client? Only this much we discussed till now. It's been almost 1 hour. I want everybody to answer for this question. Everybody is okay to see the text. Okay. I hope everybody is good. Let us move to some other parts of this question. And now this is your server. This is your client, your mobile application, correct? See, there are thousands of accounts or thousands of repositories. Now start using the word repository, repository A, repository B, repository C. And my name is Sachin, and this is my account. This is Sachin's account. This is Mahesh's account, and this is Chetan's account. And here is Sachin, here is Chetan, and here is Mahesh. Now, whenever I get connected to this account, what I can do, I can add some money, I can debit or credit some money, I can just view the account balance. All these operations I can do. Once if I perform some operations into this account, what happens? A transaction gets created. Correct? Exactly similar or replication of your bank, your version controlling system. In bank, you are going to store money, but here you are going to store text-based files. That is the only difference. Okay. Now, as we already know, version controlling system is based on client server architecture. Okay. Now, see if this is your server and if this is your client. Okay. There are multiple projects available here. Project A, Project B, and Project C. Multiple repositories are available. Now I need to discuss some terminologies related to your version controlling system. See, I'm not even still we are into version controlling system. I did not started my discussion with version control, this Git, GitHub, nothing. Okay. First, I'm clarifying the basics here. So the first terminology is checkout. Okay. Let us discuss what is this checkout. See, now this is my server and this is my client. Now this is Sachin. What Sachin will do? Sachin is started working on this project, a project, and he'll be having, this is, let's say, he'll be having one laptop, and this Sachin wants all the files. These are, let's say you joined in the middle of a project, and some are already started working on this project. So now if you wanted to start working on that project, what you need all these files related to project A. Correct? So for getting all those text-based files into your local machine, what you need to do is you need to do something called as, first you need to connect, right? Connect and download those files. See, we are discussing what is checkout. Now, Sachin is there, one person, and he joined this organization, let's say Infosys. He joined this organization in the middle of a project. It is already 40% of project is completed. Okay. Now we join the organization. Now what he should do? He should start working on project A files. Correct. Now for that, what he should do, from his local repository or from his local computer, he should connect to this project A and he should download all the files to start working on it. Correct? That is what we call it as a checkout. Okay? That is, checkout is a process where you take a file. Checkout is a process where you take a file from, where you are taking from particular repository of a server. Please bear with my handwriting. What is checkout? Checkout is a process where you take a file from particular repository of a server, and what you're doing, and make it visible inside your laptop. Correct? This is what the meaning of checkout is. Taking out, take some files. Mess up here. See, this is my local laptop. Now I wanted to start working on this project B. What I'll do first, I'll connect to this and I'll download all the files from project B. So downloading these files from a specific repository, what we call it as a checkout, okay, is a process where you take a file from a particular repository of a server and make it visible inside your workspace. Okay. Clear what is checkout? Guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Sachin.
Yeah. Next is, and you can also write down another definition for it. That is, what is that? I forgot here. What is that? That was simple one. Huh. It is a step which helps to see files which are available in the repository and brings brings a copy to your local workspace. I think this is easier than this. Whichever is suitable for you, you just follow that. It is nothing but just the meaning is just take a copy of these files from centralized repository, just a copy from here and paste it into your local system. That is the meaning of checkout. Okay. Now, okay. Now, see, now this is my local computer. I have checked out files from a particular repository. This is my repository. I checked out and files are visible into my system. Now what I'll do, if this is my file, there are two lines of code available. I'll do some modification, add some content or delete some content. Some modifications I'll do. Okay. Modify this file. Once it is modified, where are you going to store this file? Are you going to store this file in your local computer? No, obviously not, because this file must be used by other person as well at a later point of time. So once you are done with your work, what you need to do, you need to store that back to the server, to your centralized common storage service, centralized repository. You need to store that file. See, this is my server. First, I want the files to work on some files. I'll be downloading files or copying a files from this server to my local machine. Once I downloaded, I'll start working on those files. That is adding some content, modifying some content, everything. Once you are done with your modification, again, you need to store back those files into centralized repository. Okay. So this storing back whatever whatever the operations that you've done, once you're done with your operation, you are going to store back the files to the centralized repository. That step we call it as check-in or commit. Are you guys getting it? Checkout is downloading a copy of files from your centralized repository to local repository. Check-in is once you are done with your modifying, addition or deletion of some content, you're going to again place that file into your centralized repository. Copy, modify, then store back into your centralized repository. That is what we call it as a check-in or commit. See, this class is going to be purely theory session, at least for today. From tomorrow onwards, we'll see. You should be having a knowledge on what is check-in, what is checkout, what is version controlling, why we need it. Okay, so that's why I'm explaining all these things. Okay, so now let's say this is your centralized repository. This is my local machine. I'll download all the files. I'll start working on it. I'll do some modification, and I'll again store back to the centralized repository. This is your checkout, and this is your check-in. Get taking and putting back to the central server. Check in or commit. Okay. So just every time. So every time when you do some commit, or every time you do this operation, every time you do this commit operation, see, if this is your bank server, every time you do some addition or deletion of the money to this bank server, what happens? A transaction ID gets created, correct? Same thing, guys, here. Every time you add some content to your centralized repository, there is something going to be created. What is that? It is going to be a transaction ID. That transaction ID, we call it as a commit ID here. That is the only difference. Clear? Here, whenever you put something into your centralized repository, then what happens? Something gets created. That something is nothing but your commit ID, just like your transaction ID in your bank. Okay? Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So just to clarify your things, see, whenever whenever you check in or commit, what is this commit or check in? You already know. You are doing some transaction or adding some content, deleting some content from your centralized repository. When you do these operations, what happens? Something gets created. What is that something? Something we call it as a metadata. Okay. What is this metadata? This metadata consists of who made the changes, who was modified, what was modified, and when it was modified. These details are created whenever you do a check-in, just like your bank account. This is also contains a transaction details, who made the changes, when he made the changes, and what he made the changes. How much amount he made, right? In your bank. Same scene here. Whenever you commit some changes to your centralized repository, something creates, what is that something? Your metadata. This metadata consists of who made the changes, what was the changes are made, and when it was made. Those details are stored. And along with that, something called as version gets created. Versions also gets created. Okay, clear, guys? So this is the reason why we use this tool known as version controlling system. These are the details, everything that we discussed. Any doubts till here?
Sachin? Hello?
Yes, please.
Sachin, do we need to commit check-in every day when we check out the files
See,
to our...
don't worry about that. That will slowly we'll start discussing about that from tomorrow onwards, at least. I just want you to understand whatever the story I discussed till now. If you have any doubts, if you how to do this commit, everything that we'll discuss. No worries.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Guys, Divya, Sanjay, Jeevan, Kiran, Rupal, Nagarjun, Pawan, Rahul, Rashmi, Rupam,
No,
Soumya,
sir.
everybody. Did you guys understood what is a version controlling system and why we need version controlling system? What happens in version controlling system when you do some transactions? Correct? See, now in version controlling system, as I already told you, we have two things. One is client and another one is server. If I just consider it as a bank, what is that client? PhonePe is your client. What is the server? HDFC Bank server. But if we consider it as an version controlling system, What is your client? Client is nothing but your Git. Git is a software which helps you to communicate with your server. Clear? Just like, see, here is your local computer inside which you'll be installing Git. And here is your server and which helps you to communicate to that server. Okay, Git is your client here. And what are the servers? Servers, we have GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, Azure DevOps, and there are so many things are available. Okay, see, this is kind of a different bank service. This is an HDFC bank, correct? Now this is just replaced with a GitHub or GitLab. Okay, but this client server remains same. Client software is same, whichever the server you use. You might be using GitHub or GitLab, Bitbucket, Azure DevOps, anything you use, but this Git remains same for all the servers. Okay, clear? See, today we discussed, let me just clarify. Today we discussed about version controlling system. First, we discussed why we need version controlling system. Correct? Why we need version controlling system? We have some problems. Storing, monitoring, and tracking are the problems. So to come out of these problems, we need some centralized mechanisms to store all these files. Once you store these files, you need to track and monitor those files. That is, who made the changes, what he made the changes, when he made the changes. Correct? So that is the story of your version controlling system. Then we discussed what is version controlling system. Version controlling system is nothing but a practice which helps you to store, monitor, and track text-based files. And it also creates the versions of that file. Correct? That is what the version controlling system is. Now, we discussed about version controlling system is based on client-server architecture. We in detail discussed about what is server and what is client. Correct? See, server is, just remember your bank server. What does this server contains? It contains all the transaction details. All the details are stored. How it is stored? You're not going to store it in a single account. All of us are not having a single account. Correct? We have a different account numbers. If this is your server and you are having different account numbers, to each and every server you'll be having, to each and every account you'll be having some transactions. So here just convert that. Here we call it as a separate repositories for each and every project. Okay, so client is nothing but it is kind of a small application, small software which helps you to communicate with the server. That is what the meaning is. Now, if you wanted to start working into this server, if these are the projects available into your client, this, let's say project A, if you wanted to start working on project A from your local computer, right? Then what you will be doing, you need to do something called as checkout. This is not the right thing. You will get creating or downloading copy from server to your local machine. Correct? You're just creating a copy of these files into your local machine. Then what happens? That is what we call it as a checkout. This is checkout. And once you will start working on these files, you will do some modification. Once you're done with your modification, again, you need to store these files into this project, into your centralized repository. That step, what we'll call it as a check-in or commit. Okay. And what happens when every time when you do this check-in or commit ID, something gets created. What is that something? That something is your metadata. What does this metadata contains? This metadata contains who made the changes, what he made the changes, when he made the changes, along with the version details. That details are stored in your metadata. Okay. And again, we discussed about Git as a client software, GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, and Azure DevOps. There are so many are available. All are servers. Okay. This is what we discussed till today, till now. Any doubts, guys, still here? Guys, are you able to relate this, what I am discussing? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Please remember the stories that I told you. Why we need Git. See, nobody asks all these things in your interviews. Why we need Git. They might ask, but there are so many other things in interviews. But these things are for your understanding. Just remember your bank server, then everything becomes easy. Okay. So that is it from my end. And one more thing I wanted to show you was just tomorrow while coming, what you need to do is just go to this github.com. Okay. Just go here and create one account here. It is just like creating your Facebook account. Just here sign up for GitHub. Just provide your Gmail ID. Okay. Let me see. Okay. What is this? This is not available. Okay, fine. Just go to this github.com, create your, it is similar to creating your Facebook or Instagram account. Just go here, sign up and log in. Just create this account and come back tomorrow. That is the only thing. Tomorrow I'll show you. Let me give you. Tomorrow we'll start discussing. First thing, what I need to do, you need to create your GitHub account or GitLab account. Anything is fine. Okay. Preferably create GitHub as a beginner. Both are fine, but in the upcoming days, we're also going to work on GitLab as a CI/CD tool. Okay. So it's preferably you work on, you create GitHub now. Later point after we'll look into it. Just as of now, create GitHub account, just like your Facebook. That is the one thing. Tomorrow I'll show you how to install Git into your local computer. That is the one thing. And from tomorrow onwards, we'll start using those commands. Again, here commands, guys. Simple commands. We have almost like 25 commands, maximum 25 commands in Git. Okay. And all are easy commands. No need to worry. If you know this story, whatever I discussed today, if you just know this thing, taking from centralized repository to your local system, do some changes and put back the changes to your this cycle. If you just know this, that is fine. You can able to work on it. And Git is for everyone, whoever is working in an organization, irrespective of their position. Everybody must know this. Okay, Linux and Git are the mandatory things you should know. Okay, so we'll continue tomorrow. If you have any questions, I can take it up. Otherwise, I'm good. Guys, any questions?
No.
Okay. So if there are no questions, yes, please.
So yesterday I tried the SCP command in my system, but it is
Okay.
asking for the permission denied for that one.
You try executing using sudo.
Okay. I didn't try it. Today I will try it.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So that's it from my end. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye.